I'm your host, Becca, and I'm here today to talk about everything food, drink, and culture under the lens of chatting with my sister, Jess. So I'm going to let her introduce herself. Jess, if you can start by saying where you're from, how old are you, and where you're currently living. Be vague or, don't dox yourself.
Well, thank you for the introduction. I'm Jess. I'm Becca's sister. I'm 23 years old, and I'm from New York. Shout out. And I'm currently living in France.
Oh, France. So this episode, I do have a lot of French questions for you. And I think if you're looking to be an au pair and wondering where to start, this is a good episode for you. And if you're interested in food, drink, and culture, this is also just a good session for you. And if you have a sister, I think maybe we can just broaden the... Even if you don't, if you have a woman you know in your life that is like a sister. Also, I do want to, before we even start, we have to shout out our brother.
Yes, shout out to our brother, Nicholas.
He's alive and well, but we cannot...
But we miss him dearly.
So I'm 32, and we decided recently that the middle age between us is actually our brother. So I'm the oldest, and then it's my brother, and then our brother, and then it's you.
Yeah.
So there's like 9 years between us. And people always say to you that you're like the most millennial Gen Z. And I feel like I'm the most Gen Z millennial.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm never beating the millennial allegations from my friends.
Right. So it got us thinking like, okay, so we even each other out with age. So in that case, we are the median age, which is actually our brother's age, who's right in between us. So we're 27. We are triplets.
27 asterisks.
So I want to talk about first, how did you even get to being an au pair? Like where did that, what was the first seed?
The first seed?
Yeah.
That's a hard question. I think like if we're going way back, like the first seed would probably be our trip to France. Mm-hmm. We took a sister's trip about 2 years ago now, and it was amazing. Like I have always wanted to go to France, and it exceeded all expectations. It felt so magical. We did 12 days, and like I feel like we got a good sense of like the South and Paris, and it was such a lovely introduction to French culture. And ever since then, I was like, yeah, this would totally be somewhere that would be fun to live for a little bit. And I mean, I just love the sound of the language. It's like music to me. So yeah, like I think it started from that. And then
you didn't take French in school or anything?
No. This was all just pure vibe based.
It's the vibe of the sound of French. I think a lot of people can relate to that though, because if there's any language I would love to talk shit in, it's French.
I mean, duh. Like, come on. It sounds so cool. And yeah, I feel like I did maybe fall for that whole like American romanticizing France and
Emily
French
Paris,
culture. Emily in Paris, yeah. So I'm not exactly, like really helping our defense, but I fell for it. The propaganda is good. It's alive and well when it comes to France. And yeah, I never thought I would really do it or really find myself in the position to do it. But I was working in a corporate job that I did not like, that filled up all my time and all of my free time because I was talking about it and complaining about it to all my friends and family. And I finally ended up leaving that job and suddenly had so much time to do whatever it is that I wanted. And I realized that while I love New York and it has so many comforts, it's not where I wanted to be at that time after spending so long in New York. And I was just craving something new, something fresh, a new environment. And I thought to myself, like, if not now, then when? I just went through all of the drama of quitting this job. And it was a really, really hard decision for me. So yeah, like I spent some time with you and Liam, and I got to be in the UK and Europe, do some traveling, and that really got me prepped to kind of make this step. And once I started looking, it only took like about a month, and I found like a family that I really liked.
Where did you look on? What was the website?
I looked on aupairworld.com. So I just made a profile on there. You can select if you're a host family or an au pair, if you've had any experience, put references. basically like a dating profile, but for au pairs and host families.
Are there things you wish you did before you did this process? Like what would have been helpful at that stage, looking back?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how helpful it would be to like do more intense research, because I think also there's a lot of horror stories out there, rightfully so.
I don't know if you remember this story, but it was like an American who went to Italy, and she lasted like all of 3 days, and then she left, and she made like a crying au pair. I'll try to link it below.
Wait, I don't think I know this.
Yeah, so she did like a crying sort of like, I'm leaving in the middle of the night, like sneaking out. It was hella dramatic. She sneaks out in the middle of the night, leaves her family, and then does a follow-up video where she says like, yeah, I was there for 3 days and I didn't like the vibe, and like they didn't really speak a lot of English and they expected me to like cook, and I don't know. It was just like the mismatch of expectations, but a lot of people on the internet did not like the follow-up because they're like, there's obviously very bad au pair situations.
Right.
This was not one of them, but it seemed like she made it much more dramatic on that original TikTok. So when we made the follow-up, the internet sort of slated her because they're like, well, you lasted for like less than a week.
Yeah. Girl, you gave it like 72 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. So there are the horror stories out there.
There are the horror stories. And like, I think when you're looking into doing it, it can be kind of intimidating when there's a bunch of horror stories and you can kind of get that in your head. But I think it's important to research. And I think on that whole expectation note, I think it's really important to like familiarize yourself with like what your day-to-day will actually look like, which if you're like a younger sibling like me, you know, and if you like are not used to living with kids like me, it is the reality in the day-to-day is, and it can be quite shocking if you're not kind of prepared for it. And also, even if you are prepared for it, it's just a different experience when you're actually there and you're actually living with a family. And yeah, you have to be really thoughtful about that, but also you don't know until you try. So
yeah. So you knew you definitely wanted France because there were some offers for like Spain and things.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I think that was really important, is like knowing what host country you want to be in. If you were like me, like I knew I wanted France, but I still had it open to like Spain and, you know, Germany even, like, you know, just like basically any European country. And once I realized that it was France, I was like, yeah, why am I giving myself all of these options? Why am I wasting time talking to these families? Like, if you know the country, stick to it. You will find a family. And yeah, don't even give yourself those other options. It just gets confusing and takes more time in the process.
So how many families did you like talk to before you ultimately decided on the family you're with right now?
Yeah. So I ended up messaging like maybe like 5 different families, but I ended up talking like on the phone with only 2, and one of them being the host family that I'm currently with. So I also would, like, looking back, kind of talk to more families, because I think like I'm happy with my decision, but I think it's also a good way to kind of get the lowdown on what it actually means to be an au pair, what other families' expectations are. It's kind of like pulling it from people who have actually done it. And some families have had au pairs before, some families haven't. So it's kind of nice to see what the general sense is. And then it also gives you points to when you find your host family, or, you know, you realize like, you know, you come across like somebody who you're interested in, that like there is this kind of guideline of what you should expect or what you're looking for or what you want, you know? Because I definitely feel like I didn't have a clear sense on my own expectations when it came to like what things the host family would pay for, what things they wouldn't, like what's included, what's not.
And that's hard because they kind of want you to be young for this program. Like there is an age restriction. I was telling one of my friends that you were au pairing, and she, you know, she works in corporate America. She's like, I wish I could be an au pair, but I aged out of it because the cap is 28.
30.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
18 to 30. But it depends on the country as well.
Yeah.
Some countries do kind of cut off at 25 even earliest, like 25 to 28 to 30.
Yeah. I think that there's a reason for that as well, because it is supposed to be like a cultural exchange, and that makes sense. But also, I think it is sort of a situation you can easily be taken advantage of in a lot of ways. And like, you know, when you're a young woman, and yeah, women were more likely to be au pairs, but we do know one of our mutual friends, it was a male au pair, which was a weird situation as well, that he left early. Did you know anyone who was an au pair before you even like did this?
Personally? Yeah, no. The only person I knew was one of my good friend's moms. So This was like 30 years ago in Paris. Really different process for her. Like she found a family and everything when she was in Paris. And, you know, she ended up staying for the full 2 years and doing it. But that was the only kind of personal introduction I had to au pairing. Otherwise, I didn't know any au pairs personally. It was just YouTube research, Reddit. Oh my God, so much Reddit. Still so much Reddit.
So tell me about your day. What does your days look like? How has it been?
Yeah. The days aren't too crazy. I mean, I do get mornings usually, and the mom takes them to school in the mornings. So I have some time to myself, but like I'll usually spend about like an hour kind of tidying up the kids' room, doing some laundry, just, you know, some general house maintenance. We all share a bathroom. So 4 people use a bathroom, let alone when 3 of those people are kids. Under 10? Yeah. So it's like...
And that's one of the things with au pairs that we saw. So Amanda Rollins, who's like a very famous like une fille Americaine in Paris. She was an au pair and she did a whole video talking about the experience. But what was I getting on with? Oh yeah. One of the main things you can choose when you're looking is getting an apartment to yourself or living in the house with the family in the room.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking retrospectively, looking back now, do you wish you had your own apartment? I mean,
100%.
Yeah. 100%. So I think that's an important thing to know when you're looking.
Oh yeah. Again, the reality of being there is a lot different, like in your head versus when you're there. And I think it's easy to like romanticize it or kind of gloss over like, oh, it won't be that hard. Like I've had siblings, I've lived in, you know, I've had roommates, I've shared bathrooms, like, but no, it's with children. It's, you know, it's with foreign children as well. Like,
and how are their English? Is it?
Yeah, another important consideration. Yeah, their English is really not great. To be fair, they're pretty young. And this is their first year of doing bilingual schools as well. The language barrier is tough. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's especially hard when you're trying to explain the rules of a game or why something is wrong, or to get these kids to stop trying to kill themselves, which is something a lot of kids seem to like to do, is just do these very like free will oriented actions. And yeah, it's hard to explain that, and it can make it hard to bond as well. But there are ways you do that non-verbally, and their English is definitely improving. I feel like my French is getting better, like just understanding it. And there are steps, you know, they're small, and it's a really big adjustment on both sides. But yeah, I think that's really important to consider. The language.
How is your French?
My French?
Yeah.
It's better than it was when we visited Paris. But I think speaking is still really difficult. Speaking the language is hard. Understanding it is coming a little bit better. But constantly being exposed to French as well, I mean, that's kind of like the best way to really immerse yourself in the language.
That's what they say.
Yeah, and learn. That's what they say.
Is that true?
I would like to fact check that. I would like to see the study, because maybe for understanding, but I think the speaking and everything requires more effort, you know.
Yeah.
Too. Like,
because I teach English in the UK, like here and there. With one of my students, it's very hard because they speak their home language when they're home.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you're around other like refugees, they're not speaking English the same way British people are speaking English. But it's funny because she's got like a twin, and they became friends with a lot of British people, and their English is way better than hers. But she's such a studious person.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but it does. But like, because he didn't do it by the book. He did it through friends and immersion, and she's doing it sort of by the book. And like there's, I think, pros for learning both ways. But yeah, I mean, it's the same way with learning any language. Like, hearing it from someone who speaks it fluently and naturally, you're not going to be making sort of like those beginner mistakes in the same way.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like there's so much slang, like when it comes to language too, like in English and in French.
Give us a French slang. I want to hear a French slang.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think on the spot. I don't know. Like, they just like shorten a lot of things. They don't pronounce a lot of letters. Like, I mean, this is a stupid one, but bon appetit, bon app, you know? Like, it's just like, there's slangy words. Like, I just saw a TikTok about this that I can't like remember a single word from.
Well, sounds like a good time to play a game. So you've been living in France for a while. How long have you been living there?
Since the first week of January. So 2 months.
2 months. Okay. So what's one thing you think America can bring to France?
America can bring to France?
Yeah, like France is sort of missing some American item.
Oh, wait, like item?
Item, yeah, or cultural thing, or...
I do really miss, like, the American niceties. Like, I think it can be seen as fake from, like, especially to French people, but... Yeah, I don't know. Like,
but maybe they're doing that in French and you can't speak French.
Maybe. I don't know. I think like everybody does kind of have this air of like personal space and I think that's good and I do like that. But yeah, I think we could use from that a little bit. Or maybe I'm just missing home. I'm missing that American smile and extrovertedness.
The smile, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
What's one thing you can bring from France to America? I mean, I've got one that I think is quite a deep cut, but like, I like the way in France that nobody really asks you about your job. Oh, yeah. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
And in New York, it's so, like, it's the first question you ask. It's like, where, you know, who are you? What's your name? Where are you from? And what do you do for work? People talk about work at length all the time in New York. I would say all the time in America, whereas in the UK and in Europe in general, but I think specifically France, like people really do not even want to talk about work. Yeah. Like we have a mutual friend who lives in France, in Paris. And I was like, oh, so like, what are you doing tomorrow for work? You know, it's Sunday. He's like, I don't know. It's not Monday at like 10:30 a.m. Like he does not, like, there's such a deep separation. Yeah. And I think in the UK here, it's very similar, but it's not as intense. Like people will probably say 1 to 2 sentences about their job, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's actually such facts. And like, in hand with that, like, yeah, can we get their like vacation days? Can we get these like holidays off? Because obviously in New York and the States, like, we just don't have that same ideology when it comes to work-life balance and having time to also do things outside of work. Like, I feel like so many people can only talk about work because we live in a kind of structure where it makes it really, really difficult to have like fulfilling hobbies that you're actively working on to talk about. You know? Yeah. It's like, it really is your life. So yeah, I do think like that French way of living is really nice. And I mean, come on, a baguette with some French butter, like, that in the States, yeah, I could use that. Oh, wait, yes, I would love to bring like, I think France can go a little insane with it sometimes, like where everything needs to be bio, like everything needs to be like, where exactly in this tiny French province did this pig come from? You know, like I don't think we need to be that.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I would love
very
that.
Cool. You would love that. Yeah. It's like it's tracing it so far back, and like that's so important to French culture. And like the host dad is like this very classically, you know, French guy. He is so French. You've met him, you know this.
He's French.
Yeah. And he loves it. You know, he's like, yeah, that's the way it should be. Like, what do you mean? There's no, like, you don't know where this is coming from. Like, I'm like, no, that you don't just have access to that information. That's not a given. Like,
I love that though. And I love that they do it in the UK, but like probably in more regional places. It's very much like a proud thing to be like, it was made in the UK or even like sourced in the UK.
Yeah, like that. is really nice to have in France. Like just the quality and that kind of assurance that like things aren't just chock full of, you know, chemicals or, you know, like any kind of processing, like heavy processing. It's really nice. And you taste the difference in the food too. You know, everything does taste pretty fresh. Even when it comes to like vegetables and things like that. Like I think some of the vegetables in the States look like too perfect. You know, they look a little... So... Yeah.
I like the aperitif before dinner.
I love the aperitif too.
Yeah. So what is an aperitif for the listeners?
Yes, an aperitif is a little bit of a cocktail or wine, and it's before dinner, and you just have a bit of a snack. You know, we have chips or crisps with it, like a lot of times, but sausage is also saucy, or what is it? Saucisson? I don't know. Don't fact check me.
You brought some.
Yes.
They were delicious.
They're so good. And like you can really taste like that fattiness, and it tastes very fresh too. So yeah, you just have some nuts, some sausage, some crisps, you know, a nice crispy glass of rosé or white wine, or a cocktail, and you just chat. And you do that before dinner, have a little snack. It's very nice.
And is it true that like they're not making kids' foods or kids' dinners? Because I think in the States it's very popular to like do like a kids' version of dinner, and then the adults eat something different.
Yeah, no, like we rarely do that. And like the times that we do that is only if like, you know, we're low on pasta and like we're like, okay, let's make the kids some pasta, and then we'll have some like bread and cheese and charcuterie and stuff. But no, like the kids eat basically everything that we eat.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it should be. I think Americans are sometimes a bit too careful.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, it's prepping them for the real world. And it's like, I don't know. I understand pickiness because I was a bit of a picky kid. But I think it's really important that you just try it.
I want to know what your top 3 French foods are.
Oh my God, these are so hard.
I mean, I'll go first.
Dishes
we go 1 for 1.
Yeah, 1 for 1.
1 for 1.
I already know what you're going to say.
What?
Duck confit.
Oh, yeah. Confit. I mean, it's so good.
Dude, I think that's one of mine too. Like,
confit duck. I mean, you can get confit duck in anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You know, but there's something to be said about doing it in France.
It's so good. It's so like, it's so simple in the sense that like, it's not doing too much. Like there's not a bunch of ingredients, a bunch of spices, a bunch of flavors. Like it's just done really simply and really well. Like you really get the flavor of the meat. And I feel like they really let it shine. But it's seasoned so perfect.
Well, it's the butter, right? We've talked about this. We went to Le Relais en Contrat. It's like the steak place. It's very famous. Steak frites, and they only serve steak frites. There's now a location in London, New York, and several in Paris.
London too.
Yeah, I think there's one in London for sure. Yeah. So you can get it, but you've had it in New York, right? Yeah. It doesn't taste as good.
It really does not taste as good. Like it was still good. I still like need to drink that sauce, but
the sauce is incredible.
The sauce is
I've asked multiple times, and I think I've kind of reverse engineered it.
Your recreation of that sauce is amazing. Like you guys should be begging her to drop the recipe.
I know. It's. I think I've done it pretty well, but like, it's amazing. It's just like citrusy and green, but like very similar to like a chimichurri. Yeah. But like, I feel like it's not using like South America. It's not using like coriander. It's using like parsley and other more like European. I don't even know if parsley's European. Who knows?
No, yeah, like I feel that because like it's citrusy and it's like herby, but not in the way like chimichurri is. Like I feel like chimichurri is very like acidic in that regard, but like this sauce was like balanced. Like it wasn't just acid, you know. It was like
I can drop the recipe.
It was really.
I don't know.
I need to make that sauce again. Actually, I'm craving it. Like a dish, right?
Yeah, and I've got some inspiration. I mean, we did do a really good cordon bleu last time I visited you.
We did. I don't think that would be in like my top. Like
I feel like
this is basic.
What?
This is like insane. Like people are gonna like comment.
Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
A crepe.
I don't think that's basic. I think that's classic.
I fucking love like the amount of crepes I've eaten since I've gone to France is insane. Like anytime I go into Paris, that's what I want. Like,
do you do sweet or savory though?
Savory.
Okay.
And sometimes I do a sweet, like literally 2 weeks ago when I was in Paris and I decided to like book a little hotel, like have a little staycation in the city. I was just like walking back from like the bar and I just saw a crepe stand and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go fuck up a crepe right now. Like, you know, like, but it's perfect because I'll get it during the day, I'll get it at night, I'll get it whenever, and it hits every single time. Like it's quick, it's on the go, it's delicious, the batter is done perfectly. And I love a meal like that. And I think like that's also kind of New York in that sense, you know, we love a quick meal on the go.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because sometimes I like love that we can like sit and enjoy and have like a great French meal. But sometimes it's just like, fucking hell, like I don't have 2 hours to carve out for lunch right now, you know?
No,
like,
yeah. When it's done right, French steak. But there's a whole thing about which way to order it. And I actually have it on my notes. And so I think it's a good time to talk. Where else can we talk about it? What episode better than this one?
Yeah, honestly.
Rare, medium rare, you know, fully cooked. That's not the way you can order a steak in France. So this is like if you want your steak just mooing. It's just the latest. They'll just like have a flame and just go. And that's how lightly cooked this is. Raw steak.
Yeah, raw steak. Blue.
Obviously. Blue. So don't get that if you're looking, I mean, unless you're like a vampire or something. The next one up is sangnot, which means bloody.
So like maybe like a rare or more than a rare?
That is between blue and au point, so which is like rare to medium rare. So I think if you're looking for medium rare, you should order au point. A point is how it's spelled. Au point. And then there's bien cuite, well cooked. And then there's très bien cuite, which is very just Donald Trump status steak. Yeah. So don't order that. Très bien cuite, get out of what? So I was ordering sort of like medium rare, but I think they were giving me like sangnot or not au point, but it's because I have trust issues and I've used this method really well everywhere else I've gone with my husband, where he said like he'll order a steak rare and it'll come medium rare, which speaks more to like the quality of the place you're going. But if you order medium rare, they should be giving you medium rare. But now I quite like a rare steak. So if it's rare and they just like, I'd rather have it be a little undercooked than overcooked. Yeah. But in France, they don't play. They do not play. So like learn your French. Google this again. I can again put this in the description. I would say know your steak and know yourself. Very well.
Yeah. I mean, because even that steak that you got the last time that you were visiting and then you decided to order it rare, I think, right?
I ordered it rare.
Yeah, because you were like, oh, it's going to come like, like it did not.
It did not.
It was rare.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was a mistake.
I love the condiments. I love like an au pauvre. I love the sauces, like a béarnaise, like anything saucy like that is so delicious.
The mustard is so good there too.
Oh my God, the mustard. Oh, I love the options of mustard you have. Like you will never see that many mustard options.
I thought I hated mustard. Like for my entire life growing up in America, I thought I hated mustard. Because we had the American mustard, like the ones you put on like hot dogs. Disgusting. It's gross. Like, and then I came here and I tried English mustard and I was like, oh, like this is really, it's really strong, but it's like potent and it was delicious. It was like the spiciest thing. This is the spiciest condiment they have here in Europe is mustard, but it's so good. Then I tried French mustard and I was like, ooh la la. This is really good. So like I do love a CD sort of Dijon.
Yeah, oh my God, the mustard seeds, that's the best. And then of course like a croissant.
Of course. Though, I mean, have you found a croissant better than the one?
I have yet to find a croissant better than Pascal's.
Yeah.
I have found croissants that are pretty good, that are great croissants really. But I mean, we have French croissants at home in Brum.
It's true. So we're referring to this Levin and Cherry, which is bakery in Birmingham. And you used to apprentice for the person who owned it. But I tried basically the lore of the story, and there's another podcast on my Substack where I interview Pascal. But yeah, the lore is that I tasted one of his croissants that he used to sell at a bakery, loved it so much, called the bakery or a cafe, trying to find where they sourced. I was like, they did not make that in the back. Found the source, so like never saw that bakery again or a cafe. Went straight to the source of Pascal. Loved it, the croissants so much that when you were coming, they graduated early and were like living in Birmingham, you were able to like apprentice there for a little bit. And yeah, it's truly like he's both French and a Brummie. So he's got family on both sides, and he trained in France, and he gets all the flour imported from France. Yeah. It is like the best croissant I've ever had, ever.
It's incredible.
By far, by like leagues. So yeah, best croissant, honestly, Birmingham.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even have to go to France.
No. I want to do now your weekly pub quiz.
Oh.
So we're going to test some knowledge. Feel free to play along at home. What is older, Fontainebleau or Versailles?
Oh, shit. Versailles?
No. Fontainebleau is 500 years older than the Palace of Versailles.
The Fontainebleau Chateau?
Oui.
Oh my God. Wait, that's so gaggy. Okay, now I really need to go inside the chateau.
Yeah.
I've only been outside.
What does au pair mean in French?
Bitch, I don't know. Au pair?
So it means on par or equal to, indicating the relationship is intended to be one of equals. So the au pair is supposed to be a member of the family, a bit temporary one, rather than a traditional domestic worker.
Wow.
I've only done 3, just a little mini pub quiz. How long is a baguette? Now I've got the centimeters and inches, so there's no excuse.
Fuck.
And it could be average, so there is a range. So what say you?
I was gonna say, is this standardized?
It's not standard, but it is typical.
All right. A baguette is like, it's like yay big, right?
Don't talk to me.
I really should know this after apprenticing at the bakery and like eating so much baguette. Maybe like 12 to 15 inches.
That's your final answer?
Yeah.
Wrong. 22 to 26 inches.
Holy shit.
12 inches is a foot. And for listeners in everywhere else besides America, 55 to 65 centimeters.
I guess that does make sense. But
so this is like 10 centimeters. So 5 of those. I mean, that's no. That's too much. That's too much. This is a meter, so it's half of that.
Yeah, half of a meter.
Like that.
Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I gotta stay in France longer. Clearly, I need to re-up on my knowledge.
I think people are interested in sort of your personal life. Like, what are you doing when you're not au pairing? And you do live like sort of close to Paris, so you do get to like go in there quite often.
Yeah.
And of course, dating. That's what we want to know.
Oh, please. Well, unfortunately, in France, the dating life has been uneventful, but I think a large part of that is because where I live is pretty quiet, and it's public transportation can be a little bit tough, but I definitely need to make the effort to get out there. And I mean, what better way to learn French than to find a French man? So well, we shall see. But yeah, in my free time, I feel like I've been doing a lot of like writing and reading, thanks to you. I have the Artist Way.
Yes, we're right in the middle of doing the Artist Way, and I'm on week 4. You're on week 3.
Yeah.
It's basically a 12-week process of like, you do 2 main things, writing every day and then going on a weekly artist date. Yeah. And I've talked about before, I've done like a whole YouTube series like week by week if you want an in-depth breakdown of the Artist Way, how hard it is to sort of do those artist dates, but like you basically spend all your time alone. So
yeah, the artist date has not been the challenging part for me.
Yeah.
But morning pages have been really challenging though. I definitely feel that aversion. I never want to do it. I'm never in the mood. I'm always pushing it off. But I think it's also, I don't know, it's been really nice to just like go back to writing, kind of no pressure. And like for background, like I studied literature and psychology in university. Love to read, love to write. But definitely been a little bit disconnected from both of those things, I think, after the corporate job and stuff. So it's been such a nice low stakes introduction back into it, you know, and like it has been so reflective, like something like that you said, like really, you know, struck a note with me of just it being like, you know, free therapy in a way. Like, yeah, you work through this book and yeah, you're literally working through your demons and your past and every doubt that was either given to you or you had yourself. So yeah, it's been really interesting. So spending some time reading The Artist's Way and writing for The Artist's Way. I've been going on lots of walks around like the Seine where we live, and yeah, learning French. I'm in some French classes as well once a week. So I do that. And I've met some other au pairs in the area. Since again, we're pretty far outside of Paris, there's not a ton of us, but
how did you like get introduced to those au pairs?
One of them was in my language class, so they were in the same French class as me, and the other one I met through the family. So the families knew each other, and this other family had au pairs for years and years and years. So they've gone through like 7 au pairs, and the family I'm with, I'm their first au pair. So it was really nice to, you know, have somebody so close and in town that I could do stuff with and, you know, have that bit of sociability. Because again, we're a bit far from Paris. So I go in like every weekend on my day off, but otherwise it can be pretty quiet.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I visited Jess where she lives, and yeah, not much to do. Not much to do. And I think that's one of the things too with like being an au pair. Obviously, this isn't like a career thing for you. Like your contract or visa is like, I think it's like a year to 6 months to a year, depending on like which kind of contract you get into with the family. And I know you're like 2 months in, but how do you feel at this point with, I know I'm putting you on the spot with like, you know, staying, going, do you think you're going to see the 6 months through?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think that's $1 million question.
Yeah.
I, like right now, I think I have, like I really want to make it to halfway. Like I really want to just give it that honest try where like I feel like I've given it enough time and I can walk away, you know, with peace of just, it's not for me and that's fine. But yeah, I think it's really hard to tell. It is such a different situation. Everything in your life basically changes at once. You know, your routine, the language you speak, the family you're with, you know. So it's just a very shocking change, and change has always been hard for me, as you know. So it's that tension between wanting to trust my gut and, you know, wanting to give it time and give it patience. And I think it's already taught me a lot of things that I didn't realize about myself. And I think, again, like, had I been a little bit younger, even though it's from like 18 to 30, had I maybe had my own place, had I maybe been closer to Paris, there's like a lot of ways I could see this situation being better and worse. So I don't know. I think the 2 months, I want to make it to 3, but after that, I could happily walk away. And I might, I don't know.
It's hard. I think there's a lot of stories, like even our friends who were au pairs, from my friends from uni, I think one of them lasted like 2 weeks. The other one lasted 3 days, you know, like, and there's that, you don't want to give up, right? And I don't think if you left or it wasn't right for you, like you now have so much knowledge that you didn't have before. Like you are more informed to make a decision. Yeah. And if you had all this knowledge before, I think you would have made different choices or like prioritized different things, like being in Paris, having your own apartment, things like that. You would have put it as a priority as a search and it wouldn't have even been an issue. But also with moving abroad, speaking from experience, and, you know, I did it when I was much younger at 18. There's a bit of like, it is easier when you're younger because you're so stupid in a way. You've made a decision and you kind of have to stick with it. And like, the thing is, no matter what age you do move to a new country, it is hard. Yeah. Like the first month is awful. The first year is horrible. And only after that do things sort of start looking up. And anyone who's ever done it will tell you the same thing. It's the first year is the hardest.
Yeah.
And if you go or stay, I'll support you either way. But I think do bear that in mind. And like, you don't have to throw away the whole experience as well. You had a friend who teaches English in France, and I don't know. I think there's like, if you really want to stay and like make France happen for you, I believe you absolutely could. And like, maybe it's not through the pathway of being an au pair, and maybe it's not even through teaching English, or, there's so many different ways you can stay in a country. Obviously, they're all very difficult, and you have to come from a position of privilege to leverage your situation. But yeah, like you have that. And of course, you can go back to New York, and I don't think anyone will begrudge you if you do. But this part's supposed to be hard.
Yeah, I'm just so sick of things. I mean, you don't
even have a French number, for fuck's sake. You're not really integrated. And for me, the hardest part was like letting myself fully integrate, which I think you've done a better job at, because I was talking to, my ex back home when I first moved to the UK. And I was like, I think every immigrant sort of has this, like, what time is it back home? Doing the math, like no matter what time it is during the day, I can tell you what time it is in New York.
Oh yeah.
So that connection to home, obviously that's important, but like, sometimes it's also good to let go. Like when I fully just accepted this is my life, like I stopped thinking what time it was in New York. I stopped doing the conversions in my head of money. I stopped doing that. And I just sort of like those little tiny things that everyone just naturally does do. You do it when you're on holiday, but you can't do the conversion in your head of how many dollars is this? You just have to live. Life is euros.
Yeah.
You just have to accept your life now. And that's the thing it costs. And like that radical acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And I think like it's so tough right now because I think I've just kind of been in this limbo, the job stuff isn't really clear. Like that goal isn't really clear. Where I'm living isn't really clear. Like there's a lot of things that are kind of in limbo for me. So like it can go really any way, and I think that is kind of the hardest part is like making that decision and being okay with it and following whatever that looks like. If that's going back to New York, if that's another pathway in France, if that's, not France anymore, but maybe a different country, because like I still love France, but it is a lot different to live somewhere. And I'm like really, really appreciating that now. And I think I just went in a little bit naive with the language as well. And like when you're moving to a new country, it's like that component is so important,
Yeah.
Like that sounds so obvious to say, but I think there is so much of like, oh, well, like you'll learn when you're there. Like you're literally in France. Like you're living with this French family. Like of course you'll learn.
And the parents both speak English, which I think also has helped, but also hurt the situation a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you can clearly like say what you want, and I think it really gets lost in translation. But at the same time, like having that as a crutch. But I rather them speak English. There's some au pair horror stories where they don't speak a lick of English, and it's like, how can you communicate?
No, exactly. Like even with the kids, it's like them not having like really much English knowledge at all. Like the two younger ones, but the oldest like we can communicate. Mm-hmm. It's really difficult. I cannot imagine also having that language barrier to that extent with the parents. Mm. That would just be too much.
Yeah. And it's one of the things that just takes time. Like, I think if you're looking to be an au pair and you knew what country you wanted to be an au pair in, learning the language seems really obvious, but there's also a lot of things that people say, like everyone speaks English, and that's true. Even in France, that's true. Like in Spain, that's true. In Scandinavia, that's absolutely true. Germany, that's true. But what people forget to mention is that like the default is still their own language.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like when I would go like to Norway and stuff, like everyone does speak English, but also they default to Norwegian.
Yeah.
So if I was going to move to Norway, like I would learn Norwegian, and that is sort of the acceptance as well when you're moving to a foreign country. And Brits get away with it. Like they'll move to Amsterdam and not learn any Dutch. And I don't think that's right, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because like, even when I talk to people and like, I appreciate that they can speak English, like people are so quick. And there is that trip of like, you know, French people don't have the best English, but
of all the European countries listed, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, and like they just don't like to speak English, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, generally. But yeah, like even when I talk to French people in English, like one of the first things that they do say is like, oh, like I'm so sorry for my English. And that always makes me feel like no, like we're in France, you know? Like don't apologize for your English. Like we're in fucking France. Speak French. Like,
yeah.
You know, like it's okay. And it just also, as like somebody moving to that country, like it's another kind of block that I think I underestimated, you know, and it seems so obvious, but again, if you're outside of Paris as well, like it is different too. Like there isn't as much leeway when it comes to people who speak English, or like not knowing French is a pretty big hindrance.
But we learned French, or like Duolingo French, the best we could. And like that goes a really far way when you're traveling in Paris. And I think people just want to know that you're like going to a shop, you're saying bonjour, you're making the effort. But it is kind of ridiculous to assume every tourist is going to try to learn a bit of French when you go to France. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. It was so funny because now it's like the 4th, 5th time I've been to France. Since that trip 2 years ago. So I've come back very often just because I visited with our mom, I visited you. So there's just like lots of times I've been to France now. So we're checking into the hotel. This is last month. And the guy's like, oh, first trip to Paris? And we're like, no. He's like, oh, well, you should speak French by now, right? He's like, would you like to proceed in French or English? And I was like, bro, this could be my second trip. Like, you don't know. And it's just that you get the pass the first time. Second time, you better be learning French.
Yeah. No, like honestly, like, it wasn't even just the hotel guy too. Like I feel like it was like restaurants too. Oh, the waiter.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we went to lunch and the menu was in French, but like the food menu was weirdly in the middle when you open the menu. So there was like drinks on the left, drinks at the end, food, only 2 pages of food in the middle. Fine. And we were like, oh, like, where is the food in the menu? In French, to be fair. And then he was like, oh, would you like it in English? Like in English to us. I'm like, no, this is like fine.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's here. He's like, good, it's good practice.
Yeah, good practice. Go on.
And like, I mean, it is good practice because we are actually learning French.
Yeah.
But yeah, they will bully you into speaking French. Be warned. There are so many horror stories as well with like French people being rude, French people being racist, and all of these French people not being like accommodating. And like I don't know, to be fair, personally, I've not had that experience with French people.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like because I think, again, we've made the effort to speak French first.
That's true. Honestly, like, even, like, too, like, while, like, living there, like, there have been times where, like, things just, like, are not possible and it's kind of annoying, you know? But I think that's
impossible.
More, like... Yeah, impossible. Like,
the most French thing you could be told. Because it's impossible. Don't even try. Don't even think about it.
There's
and it's something that's...
where this can happen.
It can be like, can you make a YouTube hair? Impossible.
Impossible. Yeah.
But it is possible. It is possible.
So, like, I do find stuff like that kind of frustrating, but on the whole, like, even in my tiny village that I'm in, and, like, not knowing, like, French, but, like, trying, you know, saying what I can, like, you know, trying my best to use French, like, people have been so willing and want to help, and it's really sweet. Like, it's really nice. And it does make me feel like kind of a part of, like, this little tiny community in a way. Like, I always go to the library, and like I know the librarians can barely speak with them, but you know, and the poor French I have, it's like, oh, they're requesting some French books for me, and they're emailing me when the
so
books
cute.
come in, you know, and even now, like, the books are waiting for me at the Mediatek. I have to go, like, when I get back to France. But yeah, like, it's, people are willing to help, and people are patient, and if you try, they'll try. So I really do appreciate that.
I think that needs to be said too. Just like, I think with the era of the internet and like TikTok comments and like people just love to paint like villains and heroes and like the world is so much more nuanced than that. And like, it's funny to say French people suck, you know, especially when you're here in England, but like, honestly, like they don't really suck. And like the French people I also meet, and I have French friends here in the UK, they are so lovely and amazing. And I think we just have to sort of, when you're traveling, realize you are visiting in a different country and a different culture. And like the same way there was Brits calling out New Yorkers and Americans in general recently on the internet. So when we order something in New York, we'll be like, can I get a coffee? Can I get a bacon, egg, and cheese? And that is seen as like highly rude in the UK. Like you would not go in and order like, can I get this? It just sounds very demanding. You know, in the British way, you'd be like, oh, hi, how are you? Oh, do you mind? I think I'll get a bit of that. And ooh, yeah, that sounds lovely. And maybe we can get two of those. Do you think? Is that all right? A bit cheeky, get a third. You know, it's just. And I feel bad for the people learning English for the first time in the UK because it is so flowery with the unnecessary words. And in New York, our culture is like time is money. Yeah. Time is the ultimate thing. It is the most, you cannot get more time, right? And so thus we do not waste time. Yeah. And if you waste my time, that is rude. Yeah. You know, and all of the language around Britishness is a waste of time. So you're rude to me. That's rude to us. But like when they just kind of, and the TikTok didn't talk about any of this and sort of distill the whole thing of Americans don't say please and thank you. And that is so, I don't know, just, reductive. It's so reductive. It's not considering anything. And like, another aspect to that is like how we smile a lot. People think we look fucking stupid when we smile. And we are more smiley. We are, like, compared to Eastern Europeans, compared to Scandinavians, compared to literally probably most other cultures in the world. Yeah. We smile a lot. But I've heard like the reason that is because America is a melting pot. And when there's immigrants coming in from different countries, like they couldn't communicate with each other. So the way you can communicate with someone you may not speak to is through your face and smiling. And that's how we became a smiley nation. Because like that is the way we can like connect with people with different cultures. Yeah. So like that, everything that we have in our culture is for a reason. There's a reason we even eat with our knives and forks in the opposite hands. Because people always say that about Americans as well. It's like they eat the wrong way. They eat their fork in the right hand, where it should be the fork in the left hand. European style. Oh. But originally, the original Brits who like came over to the States and America, they ate like that. But they switched some time ago. So we're eating in the probably older manner of eating a knife and fork. So it just became like more continental Europe thing to switch. So everything has a reason. And it's so easy to say Americans are stupid and we're fat. Well, we can't be those allegations, but like that's our government. And that's another topic for another podcast.
Yeah. Oh my God. You want to talk about the French food versus American food?
Yeah. Like you said as well, like the quality. Yeah. But I think all that spiel is to say, like, culture is nuanced. There's probably a really good reason people are the way they are.
Yeah. That just makes me wonder why, like, British language is so flowery now.
I don't know.
Like, because, like, that's so true. Like, it's like you're asking permission to exist, to, like, you know, contribute to this business and buy something from them. Like, I don't want to offend you.
I think manners are very important here. And like that, I think, is also tied to class. And class is very important here. And if you don't have manners, you don't have class. Ooh. Love. Bless. Bless her. She didn't say thank you.
Oh, bless her.
That cunt. No.
Oh, I really do love that.
So let's finish up. I've got a little speed round to end the episode. So let's do this or that. British or French? Pubs or cafes?
Oh. That's horrible. That's so difficult. Oh, maybe it's just because I've been spending too much time in France, but I love a pub.
I love that you have to pay first in a pub because I hate waiting for the check.
Yeah.
In a French cafe.
Yeah. Like, I feel like pubs are the vibe a lot of the time. Cafes, weather has to be good. You have to have time. like you're fine having a faff, you know? But I feel like pub, you can just run in a cheeky pint, you know? It's good for dates, it's good for meeting friends, it's good for a solo artist date.
A Vogue versus a rolled cigarette.
Out Vogue.
Easy road. A little bit hard. French butter or Irish butter?
Oh, French butter.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
I don't even know what I would say.
No, French butter.
I'm not going to answer. Okay, 2-hour Eurostar or a 2-hour flight?
I mean, the Eurostar's not really 2 hours.
No. But neither is a flight. So factoring in security and getting there and all that, would you rather take the Eurostar or would you rather take a flight?
Honestly, like, the Eurostar was nice, but I feel like it would be faster if I took a flight.
The security sucks. Because then you can bring whatever you want on the Eurostar. It's like, you get, I think, the same amount of luggage, but they don't weigh it.
Yeah, they don't weigh it. You also don't have to pay extra. Like, you can bring more. Like, you can bring, like, 2 luggage.
Yeah, they're not hard and fast with it, which I quite like. And then final question, which is, now I said New York or Paris, so we can throw in London. So London, New York, or Paris?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a horrible question.
That's a horrible question.
Why would you do that to me? Like, to live in?
Just New York, Paris, or London?
Paris.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on my first episode of my sessions. I've not officially named this podcast yet, but by the time this comes out, it will be officially named. And yeah, it's a place where we've talked about food, check. Culture, check. Travel, check. We've done all of the Becca sound bites. So I'm really excited to get into podcasting and talk to different people. And I hope when you listen back to this, it sort of captures like a time and a place of your life. You may have moved on, you may be settled and stable and probably not single, who knows? But yeah, and if you're looking to be an au pair or learning a bit about French culture, I hope this is useful for you and hope you're inspired to book your trip to go to Paris and go to France. Yeah, make sure you follow on TikTok and YouTube and Spotify and all the good things. Thank you so much for listening and see you next sesh.
Oh, I'm so honored to be the first.
Would you like to say any closing words to the listeners, Jess? She said all she needed to say.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. No, I mean, I'm so honored to be the first guest of you being back into your podcast era. There's so much good content to go back to from your previous podcasts, and I feel like you've just learned so much and settled so much into your Birmingham life and your brand. And I'm really excited to see what comes of this. I'm excited to keep listening to the podcast. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Muscle.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.